Imagine walking to your own execution. The crowd around you is screaming for your blood. You step up to the wooden platform of the guillotine, and you accidentally step on your executioner's foot. What do you say? "Pardon me, sir. I did not do it on purpose." That was Marie Antoinette's final sentence on earth. But it is not the one she is remembered for. You know the one. Let them eat cake. It is the ultimate symbol of royal arrogance. It is also a complete, undeniable lie. A historical fabrication so successful, we still believe it centuries later. So pull up a chair. Let me tell you how a naive teenage girl became the greatest scapegoat in European history. First, forget the French Queen image. She was Austrian, a Habsburg princess, shipped off at the age of 15 to marry a man she barely knew. By 19, she was Queen of France. She was beautiful, rebellious, and wildly out of touch. We are talking about a teenager who would sit at the gambling tables for 36 hours straight, shrugging off her massive losses with a smile. Then comes July 14th, 1789, the French Revolution. The mob is starving, and they are marching on the palace. Her advisors beg her to step out onto the balcony to calm the masses. She steps out, completely oblivious to the sheer scale of the historical earthquake happening beneath her feet. This is the exact moment she supposedly looked at the starving peasants and uttered those infamous words. "Qu'ils mangent de la brioche." Let them eat brioche, a rich, buttery bread. But here's the problem. She never said it. Historians have scoured the archives. Nothing. Where did it come from? The philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote about a great princess saying a very similar phrase in his famous book, Confessions. The revolutionaries pointed at the text and said, "Aha! That must be Marie Antoinette." There is just one catch. When Rousseau wrote that book, Marie Antoinette was not even born yet. So why did the lie stick? Because post-revolution France was a political circus. The anti-monarchists desperately needed a villain to justify the chaos. And who better than the unpopular, foreign-born queen? It was the ultimate weaponized smear campaign. Now, do not get me wrong. She was spectacularly clueless. When the royal family finally tried to flee the revolution, they did not slip away in the dark. They packed a massive carriage with luxury makeup and fine clothes, treating a desperate escape like a summer holiday. They were caught, of course. In 1793, they put her on trial. They accused her of everything, even inventing grotesque rumors of incest with her own son. Pure, fabricated venom. But when she walked to the guillotine, she did it with absolute, heart-breaking dignity. Full makeup, head held high, politely apologizing to the man about to sever it. But here is the dark, cynical irony of our story. The French Revolution did not just eat the royals. It ate its own children. You think it was just about liberty and equality? Tell that to Olympe de Gouges. She wrote the Declaration of the Rights of Woman. She was a pure revolutionary. They guillotined her anyway. As she rightly observed, "O liberty, what crimes are committed in thy name?" Tell that to Antoine Lavoisier, the father of modern chemistry. He was executed simply for having been a tax collector under the old regime. The revolutionary courts did not need evidence. They just needed blood. Lavoisier was such a dedicated scientist that right before the blade fell, he told his friend, "Watch my eyes. I will blink for as long as I am conscious after my head is severed. And the glorious storming of the Bastille, the grand, cinematic myth of liberating thousands of political prisoners? When the angry mob broke down the heavy iron doors, they found exactly 7 inmates. 7. And none of them were political. They were common thieves, forgers, and madmen. Some even complained about the noise. But the propaganda machine spun it into an epic tale of liberation. And the guillotine itself? Designed by a doctor as a humanitarian machine. No more drunken executioners missing the neck with a heavy axe, just a swift, mechanical, egalitarian death. Pull the lever, drop the blade. It solved the executioner's mistakes in a much more democratic, mechanical, and supposedly egalitarian way. The men who started the revolution quickly realized they could not stop it. It is a vortex that swallows everything. Maximilien Robespierre, the architect of the terror, sent 10,000 people to the blade in a single year before his own head ended up in the basket. The bloodbath only stopped when Napoleon Bonaparte walked in, slapped everyone back to reality, and crowned himself emperor. So the next time you are at a party and someone confidently quotes Marie Antoinette's arrogant cake comment, you can smile, because history is rarely as simple as the villains we invent. The truth is always darker, much more ironic, and infinitely more fascinating.